Welcome in. Time for the week that was as Melanie Wilkinson joins us here. Melanie, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time you're listening to this. How we doing? Yes, yep.
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, and we got to talk about one thing that's quite an interesting story. We had a podcast talking a couple weeks ago about the solar zoning regulations here in York County. It was one thing, but things have reversed course. Can you tell us about what's happened there?
I'm calling it the surprise twist I didn't see coming. Okay, so as we talked about 2 weeks ago, after 5 years of discussion, debate, public hearings, all of that, planning commission, county commissioners, they finally approved zoning regulations for solar projects with a 3-2 vote. That was 2 weeks ago, and that included that half mile setback that we talked about for the really large commercial projects, which also OPPD then later argued that inherently would ban solar projects in York County. So in that first vote, voting in favor of with this half mile setback were Daniel Groats, Andy Bowman, and Leroy Ott, and Brandy Obermeyer and Joe Burgess voted against. Mm-hmm. So then after that meeting was held, it was discovered that they had only done the vote by a simple motion. And because it was changing our zoning regulations, it needed to be done by resolution. So what seemed to be, at first, just a housekeeping measure, in this week's meeting, they brought it back to vote on it as a resolution. And I believe that everybody went into it mostly thinking that it was probably that vote was going to hold as it did 2 weeks ago. But when it came time to take that vote, Leroy Ott reversed his vote. So he voted against it. So that was a twist. And so that means that whole situation is now null and void. It's going to be back on the agenda.
Back to square one, right?
Back to square one. Now, they do have 28 pages of zoning regulations to work with. But they're going to be going back through those setbacks are going to be the hot topic. There's a few things that might get tweaked for the smaller projects, like setbacks for, like, if you put one on your house or something like that. And there was some language that they might want to change regarding those. But the big hot topic is going to be that half mile setback, which really has been the kicker this whole time.
That's the biggest issue around all of this.
So they're going to start talking about it. I don't think they're sending it back to the commission. I think they're going to try to hash this out themselves. Now, here's the one thing to remember, though. If they make drastic changes, or they think they're going to have to, or they're going to really reverse back that setback on the big ones, they're going to have to schedule public hearings. Yeah. So they'll have to start that whole process again. So it could be a while. It could be months again before they come up to another vote.
Interesting.
We'll just have to see how it plays out. So that breaking news 2 weeks ago was breaking news, but now that it's as if that never happened.
Yep, and this all happened as we're talking here. Happened on Tuesday, right? Tuesday morning. So
it was surprising.
Yeah.
You could have. There wasn't a sound in that room when Leroy started alluding to the fact that he might reverse his vote. So here we go again.
Well, it's been a hot topic for people around here.
A long time. Yeah.
So we'll see where this all goes from here.
We will.
I want you to update us too on. We also talked a few weeks ago too about some copper wire thieves here around York, which is not good to hear. But I hear that the York County Police and the Sheriff's Department have found a suspect.
They did, and that's good news. Now, there's no way to know if the same person was involved in those earlier thefts. Probably was. Anyway, the Sheriff's Department was out on patrol. At night out in the country, just doing their due diligence, because that's, just watching for strange vehicles. And sure enough, they saw one from Council Bluffs, Iowa. They stopped him, but just because it just didn't seem to make sense. I think there was some sort of a traffic violation involved too, that they could, to constitute the stop. Anyhow, they did. They caught, his name's Brian Shaw. He does have connections here to York. He has a criminal history in the York County District Court. but his address is Iowa now. And apparently, allegedly, they found that he had components of burned wiring, which I guess is how you get it off the
burn it off
the pivot.
Sure.
I
have no idea.
I don't know anything much about that. So they arrested him. They still are asking people, though, keep your eyes open, because if, and they already arrested one person who was caught selling these kinds of items. It was a different person in Iowa, which they could trace back to here. So they've caught two, but there's probably more people that are doing this. So just keep your eyes open and make sure to call the sheriff's department right away when you see something, so that they can be proactive.
Crazy.
It is. And I heard, and somebody had asked about the value of this copper wire. What's really sad about the whole thing is that when these individuals go in to sell the stolen property, they get a fraction of what it's worth. But what it's worth to the farmer could cost up to $40,000 a pivot, because
think about how large those pivots are too.
They are, and then they have to pay somebody to come out and do the and fix it, and it's just and it's a headache, and it's just a mess. So if everybody keeps their eyes open, and I kind of wanted to segue at the same time. Crime Stoppers, York County Crime Stoppers right now is pushing for more involvement and more awareness in the community. The organization has been around for decades. Now they're in the process of doing kind of a rebranding, more focus, get that phone number out there. It's 362-2999. That you can leave tips on the hotline if you know something about a crime. They're being more proactive about putting information about crimes that they're offering rewards for. And you truly do stay anonymous, because the bank that they pay out these rewards from is in Aurora. So it's not like you're going to a York bank and people are seeing you do it. You also get a code number, and you'll be notified, or you can call in with your code number and see if you have become eligible for a reward.
Sure.
A lot of people just leave information and say and when contacted that they, could get $100 or whatever, they don't take it. They just leave it in that account. And businesses and organizations are also being encouraged to help provide more donations, because that money then is what can be used for those rewards in the future.
Yes,
so
good stuff.
I just wanted to put a plug out there, because I know the Crime Stoppers Committee numbers about 10 people, and they're really trying to do a lot more extra work right now to promote that.
It's important work too. So that number 362-2999, right?
Yes,
yep,
easy to remember. And it's going to be more visible in different places. I know that the numbers on some cruisers, law enforcement cruisers, and they're also going to have a booth at the York County Fair this year to promote that further.
All right, good stuff. I want to transition now, Melanie, to the Leadership York class. They're in their 30th year, I believe.
30th year. That's hard to believe.
Yeah.
I know it was just kind of a fledgling thing when I first moved to York. So, gosh, 30 years goes so fast.
Scott Cook, right?
Scott Cook.
Yes, he has been putting it on. So, yeah.
Yes.
And they have, it's a year-long thing. They meet once a month, I believe, and go around the businesses here, and they have, they kind of cap off the year with a big celebration, graduation. Yep, graduation. Right. And they have a guest speaker this year. And
I think you've heard of him.
Yeah.
What's his name again?
His name's Matt Rule, I believe. He's a football coach.
Yes, he's into football. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, Matt Rule is wow. He can speak. I don't know if you've ever seen him talk before.
Haven't. No, I haven't.
He'll talk football, but he'll probably share life stories and and inspiring quotes and stuff like that. He's a heck of a guest speaker, and he's going to be at the Leadership York graduation.
And it really is this, and this program is so interesting because. Not only do they learn to have leadership skills, obviously, but they learn about York and York County, which means that they'll have entire days where they will actually go see the local government in operation, or they will go to the prison to see, and to learn. They have a legislative day at the unicameral. They go to different businesses. They do tours. they really truly learn about what York and York County is about, so that they're more plugged in when participating in organizations and at their own businesses later on. So it's a great program. It's made it a long time.
And it's networking too.
It sure is.
You're meeting people who are your peers that are working businesses or working at businesses here in this community. So it's great to have that
really
kind of
is.
interaction.
So kudos to them for keeping that going for 30 years. And and so we'll have a lovely speaker, and I think that graduation event is going to be in mid-June.
June 17th. Yep.
Yeah.
And I know there's a cap too on ticket sales. It's like, I think 250. It's at the Stone Creek Event Center.
It is.
In McCool Junction. And they have, I know, a limit on tickets. So, find them out and purchase your tickets if you can. And it's also 21 and over too. I saw you have to be 21 and over to attend per NCAA rules.
Yes.
That's what,
yes.
They have the flyer here too.
That is true. That must just be a standing thing that they have to adhere to.
I think it has something to do with Matt Rule that he can't, if there's a high schooler in attendance, he can't sit or stand at this, at this event, talk, because it probably, in a roundabout way, could be considered trying to recruit that high school student who may not even be playing football.
I was wondering, I thought maybe it was because alcohol was going to be consumed.
No, I don't think that would have anything.
He could be doing recruiting or something?
Yeah. If it was anybody else that was coming to this, I'm sure it would be 21 or over. I'm not 100% sure on that. I just know that it has something to do with Matt Rule. He can't talk to a high school student, I guess, he could be recruiting him.
I just learned something. I didn't even know. I saw that note and I thought, that's interesting.
Yeah. So that should be fun, though. Head there and check out the Leadership York, their page, their website, and they'll have some information on how to get those tickets. So awesome stuff. And Melanie, I want to wrap this up here today because I want you to tell us about your dog Rikki, because the world according to Rikki has won some awards on your website, justmelaniew.com. How about that? Tell us about this.
And he's super pumped. Yeah. Somebody sent him balloons 2 days ago, and they were great fun to play with, and they were popped immediately, but they were fun to look at. Okay, so every year the Nebraska Press Women has their convention. This year it was in Omaha, so justmelaniew.com won first place for a website, which was exciting.
Congratulations!
Thank you. And I won that last year, and I won the national award last year. And so I really was, fingers crossed. I'd like to see that happen again. Yeah. But there was one thing that I had heard about. People had encouraged that Rikki, The World According to Rikki, his blog, be considered for this award. And at first I thought, well, that's kind of strange. Does it even qualify? It does. Apparently, and so. We were at the awards banquet, and they had this big screen up, where when they're giving awards, there'll be like a picture of the writer or the broadcaster or whatever, and then the list of the awards. And then all of a sudden, here pops up this big picture of Rikki. And The World According to Rikki won first place for vlogs. And Rikki, I don't know if you've read it at all, but it's usually it's every Wednesday. This week he was a little busy, so it ran. His new one is today. It's up now. Anyway, Rikki, he likes to talk in his point of view about all kinds of different things. And the judges were taken aback because they said they've never quite seen anything quite like it. I don't know if that's good or bad. But they said that it was refreshing to see a dog talk about politics.
Yeah. And tariffs, what is Ricky's point of view on
Rikki thinks he said, well, I didn't intend for this to happen, but I do have thoughts. Oh yeah, he talked about, and he has, I suppose, he talked a little while ago about how he loves toast. And Lucy, his girlfriend, she's all worried about these tariffs and how that's going to impact what their toast, their toys. Right. So Rikki did some research to make sure that, the bread, the butter, their dog food, their Kong toys, all covered, all this whimsy stuff is all made in America, because now he's pushing buy American made.
That's right.
Which must be why the person sent me a flag balloon, because he's all about America. And
Rikki
then
seems very patriotic.
and
That's
he was
good.
congratulated for his commentary on cultural diversity and acceptance, which I guess stemmed from the conversation or his writing about his surprising friendship with Gina the chicken.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Gina the chicken and him, and he can't believe he's such good friends with the chicken.
Yeah.
And I think if I'm quoting him correctly, he said, we come from different worlds. We're of different backgrounds and we're of different races, and yet we can be so close because we actually have so much in common. And not to mention the fact, honestly, though, Rikki has affected change. He wrote an open letter to the mayor, city council, and public works and parks and rec asking for some better lighting at the dog park, because some of his friends, their folks have to go to work really early in the morning, or they don't get home until really late, so it gets really dark out there. So he wrote that, and 2 days later, MPPD installed new lamps out there so you can see. And he also asked for a little separate area set aside for medium-sized dogs that are too big for the little site and too little for the big site. And Cherie's looking into it, and we're gonna. And apparently, Rikki is. Rikki told me. I don't know if he's going to be allowed, but he wants to address the council during budget
I feel like
conversations.
He could put his input.
You go, Rikki,
in there.
Lucy and they were having a conversation about their piece for next week, because people are guessing about their political their party affiliations.
Oh, they're trying to guess.
They're trying to think. They haven't told me. Rikki appears to be nonpartisan. Lucy, I don't know. She hasn't declared yet.
We'll just have to see and find out. The more we find out there. The world according to Rikki on
just check it out. It's fun with a little hint of real world woven in. So
excellent stuff. Well, you can find Melanie and articles and news stories from around York and York County at justmelaniew.com. Thanks for coming in today, Melanie.
Thanks for having me.
All right, good stuff.